YouTube? AKM Tactical here. Having a little coffee this morning, watching some videos here, and I was thinking about, I saw a video talking about uh, the reasons why some people don't use a 1911. And it kind of sparked my interest, and it made me stop and think why I choose the guns that I choose to defend my life with, or protect myself, or protect my family. And so I'm going to kind of give you my little take on what I use, why I use it, and why I don't use other things. And I had to kind of use a little cheat sheet here with my phone. I had to make some notes. Notes are a good thing, guys. Any YouTubers, if you really want to keep on par with what you're talking about, you need to get you some good notes. First thing is reliability. How reliable is the firearm that you use? Now, you got these people out there that say, oh, Glocks are the best. They're the most reliable firearm out there. And M&Ps are the best. They're the most reliable. And XDs are the most reliable. And 1911s are the most reliable. CZs are the most reliable. You can get duds in any one of them, no doubt about it. But, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the Glock is the best one to get, or the 1911 is the best one to get, or whatever. I threw a Ruger P95 out here just to throw a wild card on the table. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that any one of these are the best ones to get. Find the gun that works for you and choose that. If you have it and you trust it, good. You're good to go. I know guys that they run 1911s and they swear by them. They think that that's the best gun for them, so that's what they go by. Me personally, I don't trust my life to anything other than Glock. I'm not saying that Glock is the absolute best. For me, it is the absolute best. I would trust my life to an M&P, but M&Ps don't make a Glock 19 size firearm. So until that day comes, hands down, it's going to be the Glock. So we look at reliability. How reliable is that firearm? You can buy some 1911s that are not reliable. Now, generally speaking, the Glocks and the M&Ps, and I guess the XDs, I've never really had a lot of experience with the XDs, they're generally out of the box, they're more reliable. 1911s depends on what kind you get. I've seen 1911s that were high-end 1911s that just run like a top. I've seen high-end 1911s that are junk. They don't run worth a flip. I've seen low-end 1911s that run like a top, and the same thing. Low-end 1911s that are junk and they don't run anything. So you can look it up. You can look up facts or facts. Generally speaking, out of the box, the striker-fired platforms just seem to run better. You do get some duds, though, just like any other gun. You look at track record. People are going to argue and say that the 1911 has all these years track record of being reliable. Now, they carried them in World War II, in World War I, actually, also. It was a service pistol for the military for years and years and years. And it did them a good job until they found something better, which was a higher capacity magazine, the M92 Beretta, which, and for what it is a great gun. But the 1911, it served them well for a long, long time, a lot of years. But there again, you look at guys that run them in classes, you look at trainers, you look at all these different statistics, and the 1911, and a lot of times, it doesn't stand up like the striker-fired platforms. It's just facts. It's just the way that it is. You look at the striker-fired guns, and I don't want to say Glock because I don't want to seem like a Glock fanboy, even though I really am. But you look at the striker-fired platform guns, and they just perform better overall. They have a really good track record. Up to date, their track record is really good. So I like to look at that. I like to look at ruggedness. You can torture test this 1911 against this Glock, or against any, Glock, M&P, Springfield. The Glocks, though, have been notorious for being rugged. Rugged firearms can be beat, really, really beat down and put down, and they just keep running and keep running and keep running. The 1911s, if you just look it up on YouTube, 1911 torture test, Glock torture test, the 1911s don't, as a general rule, they don't hold out as well as the other guns. There's too many fine-tuned parts in this thing to really withstand a really good torture test. So ruggedness, you know, I like to look at that. I like to look at the ability to upgrade. Um, you know, the ability to upgrade plays a big cost and factor to what you choose. You know, take for instance this Ruger P95. It's a good gun. I've had this P95 since I was 21 years old. I've had this gun over 10 years, and it's durable, it's rugged, it has a pretty good track record for a budget hammer fired gun. It's very reliable. I've never had a single issue. I had a couple of magazines go bad. I had to replace, but other than that, the gun itself is rock solid. Um, but the ability to upgrade is not there. You can't hardly do anything to this gun. I don't know that you can even change the sights out on it. I'm sure you can, but you know there's not a lot you can do with this gun. There again, the 1911. Tons and tons. One of the most upgradable firearms in the history of firearms. They make parts to change out everything on this gun. You can take a plain Jane gun like this Ivor Johnson, and you can turn this thing into a high-end anything you want to do with it. I mean, the possibilities are endless. But does it have all the factors that you look at? That's the key. You look at the Glocks, the M&Ps, the Springfield XDs. These guns are they're robust, they're reliable, and they're very upgradable. The striker fired guns, as a general rule, have all the other things that you look for. Parts. How easy is it to get a hold of parts? If the gun breaks, how hard is it to fix it? A 1911, there's so many fine-tuned parts in a 1911. If something small breaks, you can have a big problem on your hands. This gun can be broken down with a punch, and all the parts can be laid out, and it's a few little springs and some pins, and I mean that's really about it. It's parts are readily available. They're all over the place because there's so many of these out in the world. In a crap hits the fan scenario, if your piece goes down, the chances of you finding parts for this is very, very easy because there's so many of them out there. Cost of mags and accessories. You know, we look at guns, and guys think if I buy a gun and it's got two mags in it, I'm good to go. Wrong. You're absolutely wrong. If you buy a gun, you need as many mags as you can stand to have. Glock magazines, I don't know how many I have. I have at least 15 or 20. I don't have enough. You can't have enough mags. Rifle mags, pistol mags, you can't have enough. So you got to look at the cost and the availability of magazines for the firearm that you choose. Um, the Glock mags are cheap. They're readily available. Magpul is now making a 17 round 9mm magazine that's under 20 bucks. It's like 15 bucks. And it's a Magpul mag. So, I mean, it's good to go. They had some issues with them at first, but they've worked those kinks out, and that magazine is squared away. And even Glock factory magazines, I've seen them as cheap as $21, $22 a piece. 1911 mags, there's a ton of them out there, a ton of different companies making them. But to get good, reliable magazines, you've got to buy something like Metgar, Chip McCormick's, Wilson Combat, something like that. You're looking at $30, $35 a magazine. Very expensive. And you don't get, well, we'll get into that in a minute. The Ruger P95, which is just another gun, a hammer-fired gun, the only hammer-fired gun that I have. I threw it on the table. Or double-action gun, I should say. I bought magazines for this gun when my first set of mags went out. 60 bucks for two of them. So they're about 30 bucks a piece. And you're not just going to jump up and find P95 mags. Beretta M9 mags you can get pretty cheap, you know. But there again, does it fall under all the categories that you like? And then the cost of the gun. You know, this 1911 was about $650, $700, somewhere around in there. This gun was, you know, $599 plus tax, about $650. But most people that buy a 1911 want a nicer 1911 because they say that a nicer 1911 will run better. Well, then you're looking at $1,000 gun. I can get this gun on the used market for almost half of that. And then not just the Glock. You know, the Springfields are more expensive, but the Glocks, the M&Ps, you can get those guns for about half of what you get for a 1911, and you get so many more options with the striker fired gun. So those are a few things that you need to look at when you're deciding your defensive pistols. There's reasons I trust my life to the striker fired platforms over the single stacks, over the double actions, you know, those kind of things. And I'm gonna tell you, 8+1, 7+1 to me is not enough. Not for that size firearm. You know, I mean, look at this. That's about a Glock 19 size gun, and it holds 8+1. Okay, I can carry a Glock 19 which holds 15+1, and anybody that says 45 is a better round than 9mm really needs to do some studying on ballistics and what bullets actually do to the body. A pistol is not gonna. It's not always a fight stopper. You know, a lot of guys say you should use your pistol to fight your way to your rifle. Well, that's true, because a rifle is a guaranteed fight stopper. A pistol is not a guaranteed fight stopper unless you have good shot placement. I don't care what size round you're using. In the concealed carry world, you have 380, 9, 40, and 45. Okay? These guys that say a 45 is way superior than any other round, they're wrong. They're just wrong. Ballistically speaking, it doesn't do that much more than a 9mm. Not enough to say that it's superior. And you can look that up. That is a proven fact. With today's hollow point ammunition, 9mm is just as potent as a 45. So, why would I want to carry something that only holds 8 rounds in the size of this? Now, I can carry a Smith & Wesson Shield. I had a Smith & Wesson Shield for a while. I can carry a Shield. I can carry a Glock 26. I can carry a Glock 26 and carry more rounds than a 1911, and it's easier to conceal. I can carry a Shield that holds pretty much the same amount of rounds as a 1911, and it's more concealable. So, am I a hater of 1911s? No, not by any means. I love a good 1911. I got a buddy that's got a Les Bear Custom, fine 1911. We've shot a lot of rounds through that gun. It's a very well-made, fine-tuned piece of machinery. Awesome gun. Would I trust my life to it? No. Does he trust his life to it? Yes, every day. He carries it on duty every day. He's comfortable with that. That's great. If you're comfortable doing that, by all means, do it. Me personally, I'm going to go with something that's got more rounds, no safety. That's another thing we look at like the Beretta M9. The Beretta M9 is a good gun. It's a great gun. There's a reason that the military has used it for so many years. It's a very well-made, robust firearm, but it's got an external safety on it. If you study footage of shootings and things like that, if you get attacked and you have to use your gun, it's got to be quick. It's going to be right then. I don't want something that I've got to pull out. I got to pull out of the holster, try to find a safety to turn off, and then get involved in a fight. I want something I can pull and get in the fight immediately. So that's another reason I don't care for the Springfield XDs. They have the grip safety. It's external safety. You have to get that perfect grip every time. I want to know that I can grab that gun funny if I had to and still get a round off, if nothing else. That's just my thinking. Everybody's different. Do your research, think about it, study up on it, and make your choices based on that. That's really all I got, guys. I appreciate y'all watching. This is Michael with AKM Tactical saying, shoot straight, God bless, and y'all be safe.